the eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the United players, I would guess, would give Falkirk a guard of honour if they followed the usual routine, but we're still waiting for either sets of players to come out. But as the guys here have been describing, it is more or less a full house. United fans still making their way in, but in terms of the Falkirk areas, and that is, I would say, certainly all of the main stand, all of the Kevin McAllister stand, and half of the stand away to our left-hand side behind the goal, United fans making up the remainder of that. So a brilliant turnout. They sold out their season tickets long ago, and well, as you heard from Jamie Swinney, the chief executive, pre-match, it's a real buzz about the place, as you would imagine. 2 consecutive league titles, the first club to do that since Gretna back in the early 2000s. Livy more recently went up in consecutive seasons, but Falkirk the first team to win the 2 titles since Gretna. So there's a lot of expectation. There's a display here, the fans all holding up their coloured bits of card pre-match for a tifo probably for the TV cameras that'll look. And yeah, it's a great day here in Falkirk. The sun is shining, and we're anticipating hopefully a good game of football. But as I said to Jim Goodwin, clearly they'll be looking to try and put a bit of a dampener on it as far as the football's concerned. Outcome United, and they do form that guard of honour as expected. One of the banners over on the far side says 15 years in the making. 15 years Falkirk have been away from the top flight, 5 of them down in League One. They languished there for way too long, but it's been a tremendous couple of seasons under John McGlynn, who has really been the catalyst for incredible improvement. And now Brad Spencer, the captain for the day, leads them out, followed by Scott Bain, who's been given the goalkeeper's jersey, and the rest of the players and the mascots come out onto the field of play as they await the raising of the championship flag. The championship that they won in some style, albeit there was a bit of a stumble, a few nerves towards the end, and eventually though against Hamilton Accies here on the final day, they got over the line with that 3-1 victory. An incredible night to be part of in the commentary team on that occasion. And well, Falkirk, a lot of people believe they are the kind of club that belongs at this level, and they will hope to prove that not only this afternoon but over the course of the season. As up goes the flag, Falkirk Football Club winners of the championship in season 24-25. And the applause rings out around the stadium, and the home fans hoping for continued success over the course of this campaign, whatever that looks like. Neither John McGlynn nor Jamie Swinney setting their sights any further really than survival, and clearly that is the first objective. But we've seen Dundee United just last season come up from the championship as winners and immediately make a real impression, finishing 4th last season, and do feel that will be difficult for them to follow suit, particularly with European football to contend with in the early stages. Let's see how they cope with that. The demands of both domestic and European football in these early weeks, as the players now go through the handshakes with the officials and their opposite numbers before we will soon be underway in the first game of 3 in this Sunday Premiership card. And I think most people really anticipating a good game. Falkirk certainly have had lots of plaudits in recent times for the brand of football they play. United with pretty much a new look side will be looking to follow up the 2 victories over Unerstrassen with another one here, and set themselves up for another positive campaign under Jim Goodwin. Match referee is John Beaton, who has the ball tucked under his left arm. as he makes his way to the centre circle. United are in a change kit, all in what looks like a kind of greyish colour from this distance, and Falkirk in the traditional blue and white tops, white shorts, red socks. They will go from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand. It's unfortunate that the commentary position here at the Falkirk Stadium hasn't improved over the years along with the football. It's still pretty much in line with the 18-yard box on the left-hand side, as I get my excuses in early for not being able to identify players in the far end, but my learned colleagues Callum Davidson and Ian McCall will keep me right, no doubt, and they'll be keen to pick me up if I've got the United formation wrong in these early stages as well. But it will be the visitors to kick us off, and we'll quickly try to get to grips with the new personnel in United colours, particularly as United launch the ball down that right hand side. It's an early one for Sapford to chase, but it's gone out of play on this near side of Falkirk left, and it's a throw in to be taken about 10 yards from the corner flag by Leon McCann. Already Ian's given me the 4 digits. I think he's suggesting that it's a 4 at the back for United, but we'll let them expand upon that just in a moment or two once we get the next break in play. But it's Falkirk coming forward early doors down the left hand side, and it's Ethan Ross cutting in field. Such an impressive role he played among others. And now it's McCann, left hand side, swings it. It's a dangerous ball. Brian Graham can't get there. Calvin Miller almost at the byline, clips it back in. Chance for Arfield, can he bring it down? Can't get the shot away, and United win possession inside their own box and just play it up towards the halfway line. But early encouragement for the home side.
Yeah, it's just the start John McGlynn would want. Some great attacking play, great balling by McCann left back, and Graham's inches away from getting a tap in.
Yeah, Brian Graham, predatory striker, right in the place you would want him, but just unable to get the final touch as he looks to get a Premiership goal under his belt. And Falkirk back in possession. Ian, do you want to come in on that United formation?
Yeah, I think it's 4-3-3. It's certainly a back four with Seville's playing right back on that one. But we're right in line of Brian Graham's movement, and if it was the ball was just a little bit better, he was in.
Could be in here as they come forward. Claims for handball, and John Beaton spotted it just outside the penalty area, just to the left of it. And a free kick for Falkirk, and this is a very promising position from which to try and test the Ukrainian goalkeeper of Dundee United, Yevgeny Kucherenko.
It was a typical Falkirk move there. Great spin run by Dylan Tate. They do it all the time. They stand there and then they just look to just drop balls over the top all the time. It's something Dundee United are going to be aware of.
So 3 Falkirk players taking an interest, although Calvin Miller moves away now. Ethan Ross and Brad Spencer remain over it. It's left hand side, just a yard or two outside the penalty area to the left of it, so about 17 yards from the byline. It's rolled to Ethan Ross. Can he get there? It was just overhit for him, and it was a block came in, but breaks to Calvin Miller over in the right hand side. It was Kamara who just managed to get the foot in there for Falkirk initially, but here's Dylan Tate on that right flank. Sapford is with him, forcing him back the way, but Falkirk have started in positive mood, knocking the ball around, keeping possession, and United starting on the back foot. And it's Spencer just inside the United half on the left hand side, comes back the way towards the halfway line and plays it square to Lewis Nielsen on loan from Hearts. Came back to play a role for Hearts in that second half of last season, as it's nodded back to the goalkeeper there by Chevalier, and Kucherenko dives on that before Scott Arfield can make anything of it. But there's certainly positive signs in this early few minutes. 3 minutes in, Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, that listen, have started really well, just as we expected them. So the big thing that you notice is the difference in the sizes of the teams. I mean, United are huge, and Falkirk, they've got 1 or 2 physically good players, but other than that, little wide players, say even midfield players. Brad Spencer's really important. He's quite small physically.
United have it at the back. It's Jovu who scored the goal out in Luxembourg. He's playing on the right side of the central pairing. Bert Esselink to his left as United come forward down that left hand side. It's knocked away by Henderson there, and then Falkirk try and latch onto the ball upfield, but it's broken United's way, and it's out on their left-hand side. Picked up by Jovu. Jovu at the back, plays out to Chevalier, one of the recognisable characters in the United ranks. Infield it goes. Henderson's been penalised there for, I think, probably a pull there on Satford. Didn't seem to be too much in it, but John Beaton has seen enough, and he's awarded the free kick United's way, just inside the Falkirk half, over on the right-hand side, and an opportunity for them to get a little bit further up the park. Almost 5 on the clock, no goals. Falkirk enjoying slightly the better of play, you would have to say, in these opening exchanges, as Jovu plays it back into Esselink, who tries the long diagonal, but I think that's Dolchek over on the far side who's gone down, just slipped there really on the artificial surface, and the ball goes out of play harmlessly for a Falkirk throw in midway inside their own half over on the far side. Keelan Adams, one of the players I'm really intrigued to see how he gets on. He looked very comfortable, certainly in the Championship, having made the transition from Cumbernauld Colts, and no reason why he can't make the step up. He's a tremendous athlete down that right hand side, and certainly he, among others, has the faith of the manager John McGlynn to make this step up.
Yeah, strong physical capabilities last year when I watched him play. You know, really good athlete, gets up and down the pitch. He'll be probably defensive positioning. You know, he'll gain better players. He'll be playing against players who are slightly more intelligent. You know, will understand the game probably a little bit quicker as well. As Ian's mentioned, obviously Dundee quite a physical team. They've got some big boys in their team, so that'll be another aspect of his game he'll get tested on. But again, these is all the Falkirk players will get tested on this year.
It's out for a throw into United, deep in their own half over on the far side. Just in line with the 18-yard line, really, in line with us up here in the commentary position. It's thrown into Papo, one of the new signings, a Ghanaian midfielder. Here's Sibbald, as I mentioned earlier, almost 300 appearances for Falkirk, came through the ranks, and it's very heartening if you're a Falkirk fan to hear that they're resurrecting the academy that's produced a number of really good players over the years, not least Sibbald and indeed Scott Arfield out there on opposing sides this afternoon. And the ball's crossed the touchline on that far side, United unable to keep it in, and it's a throw into Falkirk, which goes back the way to Nielsen. Nielsen plays it square to Henderson, just about 20 yards inside his own half, brings it forward up towards the halfway line, then tries to lift it over the top. Not a bad ball looking for Miller, but it's cut out there by Kerestesh, the Hungarian defender who's played at left back today rather than left centre back as he did the other night. United come forward, it's a rather aimless ball, and Henderson will just see that back to Scott Bain. And just on Scott Bain, guys, I wonder how difficult a decision would that have been for John McGlynn to go for him rather than Nicky Hogarth, one of the few that he has decided, for the moment at least, won't make the step up.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough one, because he obviously it'd be really he did really well for him last season. He was good with the ball at his feet, which I think John demands. But I just think that's such a, I don't know what Callum, if it's such a key position for that extra little bit of experience, playing at Celtic, playing at Dundee, is probably really important to Falkirk.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably where it's experience. He's played at that level. You know, I think
not much recently though, you'd have to say, Callum.
Not much recently, but I think he's obviously played games previously. Listen, to be big for him as well, because he's taking the opportunity because he wants to play football. Yep. So John's obviously brought him in probably to play to start, and then it'll be up to him whether he keeps his jersey. Yeah,
played 78 games over his 7.5 years at Celtic, mostly played second or even third fiddle at times, but he's only 33, and he's arguably, you know, in his prime as far as a goalkeeper's concerned, as Ethan Ross has nicked the ball. He's into the penalty area. Now it's Calvin Miller. Can he get the shot off? Kerestesh holding him up. Miller has to go back the way, still in possession at the edge of the area, can't find a pass though, and it's pinched by Papo, who will try and get away from his opposite number, Brad Spencer, crossing the halfway line. That was a really promising position for Falkirk, and they didn't make the most of it. And now it's Kamara in the midfield, onto Chevalier out to the right hand side. Dreadful attempt at controlling it there from Sapsford, just lets the ball run under his foot and out for a throw into Falkirk, and neither side benefiting from the good positions they got themselves into there.
Yeah, both good opportunities to go and get an effort on goal there. I think I think it was Calvin Miller just couldn't get out his feet, and then Dundee United on the counter attack just didn't go with enough pace. And again, it's a weird because Dundee United are playing, I kind of playing 4-4-2, but they're playing Satsford. He's playing really narrow off the right hand side.
Here's Adams coming forward for Falkirk down the right hand side into Miller at the edge of the area, central, back to Arfield, about 25 from goal. Now it's Miller once more, just trying to bundle his way through, and he can't quite manage to do it, and it's cleared as far as Nielsen up to the halfway line. He gets it back from Henderson. The Falkirk fans encouraged by some of what they're seeing. We've played almost 10 minutes, no goals, as it's picked up on that right hand side by Tate. Plays it forward to Adams, who can't get the better over there on the far side of Dolchek, and it's eventually gone out for a United throw-in over on the far side, 15 yards from their corner flag. 10 minutes in, it's Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, the one earlier, I just think, although Calvin Miller could have done better, I think Seb Ross was the one that should have the strike. Brian Graham's done well to win it. He created a wee yard, the defender couldn't touch him, should have the strike.
Here come Falkirk again though. Graham tries to flick it into the path of Arfield, it doesn't come off. United emerge with possession. There's a little tug there by Spencer on Sapo, and it's a free kick Dundee United's way, just a few yards outside the penalty area. But certainly Falkirk enjoying more territory in these early stages, more possession in the final third, and they'll be looking to try and turn that into a lead sooner rather than later, as the ball goes back to Kucherenko, who came in from Ukrainian football in the summer. He's played throughout Europe though, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Portugal and Greece, and now Scotland, as McCann decides not to chase that when he might well have kept it in, and instead it's picked up by Esselink, the Dutchman, but it's too much on his pass for Dolchek, and it's out on the far side for a throw, and quickly taken into Miller. I remember Ian talking, doing the championship commentaries last season, and there was an awful lot of talk about guys that John McGlynn had brought into the club who probably had a point to prove, people like Calvin Miller, who maybe hadn't quite fulfilled their potential at other clubs, and now they've got such a big opportunity to do that in the top flight.
Yeah, I think Calvin's a great example. I had him at Ayr United, and the penny at that point, I think he would probably admit it hasn't dropped, and it has done now, and he was terrific last season, and he's got an opportunity to show he can play at this level, and I've got to say I expect him to take it.
Falkirk throw-in down below us, 20 yards from the corner flag, to be taken by McCann on the left-hand side. Almost 12 on the clock, no goals. Dundee, Hibs, and then Celtic St Mirren to follow this game. We'll keep you up to date with the Dundee Hibs, which kicks off at 3, and we'll get live full coverage of the flag raising at Celtic Park before the game itself, as Celtic look to get off to a winning start. As Falkirk have won a free kick again over in this near side, the Falkirk left, midway inside the United half. Calvin Miller and Brad Spencer over this one, as Falkirk try and create something here. It's Miller who sweeps it into the back post. Henderson climbs, but he's flagged offside anyway, but he couldn't reach it, and it's out over on the far side. But it will be a free kick to Dundee United inside the penalty area. 12.5 minutes in, no goals, but Falkirk, you have to feel they've generally been on top. They do have to take advantage of that at some stage.
Yeah, definitely, it's a good start for them, a real positive start for them. I think it's actually a wee bit blustery out there. There's been a couple of longer balls. I think we're sort of sitting in a shaded area. It looks quite windy. There's a couple of overhit passes for its nerves. The pitch is playing really well. The ball's moving really well on the surface. It's a really good astro here. It's actually conducive to really good football.
Out on the far side, it's going to be a United throw-in. Kerestesh to take it. Falkirk win it though, and it's Dylan Tate, nodded forward by Graham. Arfield trying to make something of it, but it comes all the way through to Kucherenko in the United goal. He plays out to Chevalier. It wasn't the best of balls, he just feeds it down the right wing, picked up by McCann. Falkirk have it. It's Spencer for Dylan Tate, and now McCann back to Spencer once more, the Falkirk captain. Cole Donaldson sidelined by injury, as he has been for on and off much of the last year. Here's Miller in off that right hand side, not a bad ball. Kucherenko tries to punch it. It wasn't a great punch, but it wouldn't quite sit for Arfield, and United could potentially break here. It's forward now for Sapsford on the right hand side, looking to try and test McCann here. He's not got a great deal of support. Sapo's offering himself. McCann gets a toe in and just knocks it out of play. United probably just have to be a little bit sharper in the counter-attack. Here's Siboldo picking up possession in a central area, 15 yards into the Falkirk half and still advancing. Plays it to his left to Kerestesh, and out further to the left-hand side to Dolcek. He's checked himself by Miller, who has knocked the ball out of play, and it will be a throw into United deep in Falkirk's territory. Back the way it goes though, and it's Kamara there who plays it back the way to the central defender Jovu. Picked up by Sapo, back into the middle of the park. Out to the left-hand side from United. They can't bring it under control. It was Dolcek trying to do so, and Nielsen will just have to ensure that crosses the goal line. Indeed, he manages to do that as Max Waters tried to make something of it. The striker brought in on loan from Barnsley.
Falkirk look really comfortable when they're dropping in their shape. You know, so they go and attack. Probably the biggest problem for Falkirk today, as you can see, will be on transition.
And they almost gave it away there in a dangerous area at the edge of their box, but a sliding lunge manages to keep it. Here's Dylan Tate, quickly closed down, and United have pinched it, but illegally, says John Beaton, who saw an infringement.
He was lucky there, didn't think that was a foul.
But Falkirk will do that, will they'll take risky chances towards the back, and when it comes off it's great, and they can break the lines, but if they get caught it can be dangerous, as we saw both Motherwell and Rangers taking chances yesterday at Fir Park. The ball exchanging possession an awful lot in that game. But Falkirk are well coached into this kind of rhythm of this passing.
What they do is they actually vacate the middle area. Spencer and Tate, they vacate the middle area a lot, so they actually build the overload with numbers inside. On transition though, that's where they'll find it. If they're not securing possession higher up, it's the counter-attack, I think, for Dundee might hurt them.
Kerestesh fouled by Calvin Miller over on the far side, right in front of the assistant referee, and the free kick goes the way of Dundee United, which Kucherenko will come out of his goal and go across there and take this, clad all in green. Kucherenko to launch this one forward. United hoping to get off to a winning start. They failed to do that in the last 5 opening day top flight games, drawn 3 and lost 2 since they beat Aberdeen 3-0 back in 2014. Falkirk with the throw-in over on the far side. We've played 17 minutes. You're listening to Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland. 0-0 it stands between Falkirk and Dundee United, who have picked up possession. Papo though can't get it forward, and it's Spencer forward now for Miller. Miller running up towards the edge of the box. A good sliding challenge there to prevent the shot coming in. McCann looking to find Graham, almost got there, and Esselink having to make a really important intervention there to knock it out on the far side. 0-0.
Yeah, that was 1-0 there, but Esselink's come in and a really, really good defensive header. His position isn't great because Brian Graham can see his number. A better ball, you know, I think he's opening the scoring.
Throwing in on the far side for Falkirk, for Arfield on the byline, just can't quite wrap his boot around it, and it's out for a goal kick, and down has gone Vicko Chevalier off the ball, and Brian Graham was the man closest to him, and he's getting a word in his ear from John Beaton.
I think Brian needs to realise he's got VAR in the Premier League. So one knows. I think there was absolutely nothing in it.
Brian Graham wagging a finger at Chevalier. Now he's back on his feet, as if to say there was nothing in that, but Brian Graham certainly made a career out of making life difficult for defenders, and he'll continue to do that, you would imagine, at the ripe old age of 37, back in the top flight. There is already played almost 100 games actually over the course of his career with United themselves, St Johnstone and Ross County. United trying to come forward. That's over Adams. He slightly misjudged that, and Dolcek knocks it back here to Papo. Papo down the left-hand side, but he overruns it, and Falkirk have won it, and it's Spencer forward now to Ethan Ross, who's come in centrally. Gets away from Sibbald and just knocks it out to Miller. Not forward by Adams, but it's a wayward one from Adams. And out of play over on the far side. 19 in, 0-0. As the quick throw-in was taken, but it comes to nothing for United, and Scott Bain comes out of his box slightly to the right and picks up possession and plays it to Lewis Nielsen. Nielsen square for Henderson and gets it back once more. Started last season, or at least went out on loan first half of the season to St Johnstone. As I mentioned, came back and played a few games for Hearts, but allowed to come out on loan once more. Former United youth player, and of course, Lewis Nielsen. As Scott Bain picks up possession just outside his own penalty area before he launches it long over the halfway line. One for Arfield to try and look interested in, but it's Esselink who knocks it out of play. He's coming from Polish football. As Sapo picks up, Papo, I beg your pardon, I keep calling him Sapo, it's Papo picking up possession deep in his own area, and he's giving it back to Chevalier, who didn't really want it, and he's just knocked it out of play down at the corner flag on the left hand side. Falkirk will have the throw in, which Arfield relieved to Leon McCann. Started the last couple of games with Sean Mackey having picked up a knock. Here is McCann, he's made room for the cross, it's a good one. Oh, it's just wide! It's Calvin Miller into the back post. Graham couldn't reach it, and Miller threw himself headlong, made connection, but just couldn't angle it on target. Best chance of the game so far, but 21 in, it's Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, a wonderful ball from McCann from the left hand side. Brian Graham goes for the ball, misses it, attracts the two defenders, left back sleeping, and Miller just dives in back post and just heads it wide. That was a great chance and some great football by Falkirk there.
Yeah, McCann's delivery was superb, wasn't it? And Calvin Miller just full stretch with the diving header, just could not get it back on target.
Dundee United are struggling a wee bit on that right hand side. McCann, that's 2 or 3 times McCann's got down that side because they're playing a little bit lopsided with Satsford and Waters up front. They're both strikers, and you can see naturally they're drifting in, and when they lose the ball, McCann's in acres of space, and it's an avenue I think Falkirk are going to try and expose down that side.
Throw into Dundee United down below us, right hand side as they come forward, to be taken by Jovu, the Moldovan central defender. Actually, he's going to leave it to Chevalier, who's being ordered back a few yards. Victor Chevalier, then one of the few in that United starting lineup who have been at the club, actually just him and Craig Sibbald, who have been at the club longer than just a few weeks. As Falkirk pick up at the back, almost at the midway point of this first period. Still no goals, but I think John McGlynn will be happier of the two managers in terms of the way his side is playing, as Adams tries to bring it down, does well initially up against Kerestesh, plays it back the way, and then it's clipped into Graham. Graham helps it on for Miller, right hand side, can he keep it in? Just tries to play it into the middle, and he, again, just like Arfield a few minutes before him, can't wrap his boot around it, and it's gone out of play. But the Falkirk fans sounding their appreciation. They like what their team are trying to do. It's just not quite resulted in a goal as yet.
Yeah, I mean, the one chance was Calvin Miller. I don't know how much connection he could get on it, but it's just the way they play. Miller and Ross, they play wide either side of Brian Graham, but they're always looking to get in it. It's a bit like Brendan Rodgers demands from Celtic wide players. They're always looking to get in at the back area to try and score a goal.
Yeah, and both wide players scored a number of goals last season, that's for sure. Ethan Ross got 9, Miller got 12. As Falkirk trying to come forward once more, Brian Graham gives chase. Esselink knocks it back to his goalkeeper, Graham, and he's closed down very quickly. Ethan Ross almost forcing the error there. The keeper's got away with one. Kucherenko, it is a goal kick, but he didn't realise that both Ethan Ross and Brian Graham were going to pin him down so quickly, and he really could have conceded a goal there, and that would have been calamitous for Dundee United. Gets away with it, still 0-0.
I actually generally don't think he saw him. The way he was actually taking his touches, I don't know if the sun's in his eyes, but that was a big opportunity there. It was good hunting down by Ethan Ross from the Falkirk's left hand side.
Here's Brian Graham, picks up on the header from Henderson forward. Graham tries to squeeze it through, Sibbald's in his way, then he tries to get it out to Miller, doesn't quite get there. Commanding header from Henderson, but it's picked up in the midfield by Papo, out to the left-hand side. Chance for Dolcek to run at the Falkirk backline. Comes infield onto the right foot, swings it in, but it's Henderson again who meets it. He's been good at centre-back so far. As United will win it back from Ross in the middle of the park. Out to the right-hand side it comes to Kamara. And then all the way back to Esselink. Just about 10 yards inside his own half. Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0 here at the Falkirk Stadium. And the first of the 3 games will bring you on Sports Sound this afternoon. It's played forward and it wasn't a bad looking ball, but again Henderson rises to win it before Sapsford could latch onto it. And now it's Miller at the other end coming forward, finds Graham. Graham, can he get should have taken a better touch. He might still manage to find Scott Arfield here. No, he's not going to keep it in. Brian Graham's got to take a better touch there because he was in lots of space and it could have been a good opening for Falkirk.
Yeah, listen, it was really good movement in the middle of the pitch. Brad Spencer, as usual, involved in it. Yeah, Brian's got to take a better first touch, and then deliver a better pass to, because Arfield's made a really good run off him, or use him as a decoy and turn away and go and have a strike at the goal, but got to do a wee bit better.
Goal kick then.
It's good movement by Falkirk. I think it's what they do a lot. They get into Brian is the sort of focal point, and then they get the runners off. This time it's Arfield, next time it's Miller, next time it's Ross, next time it's Tate. So they've got runners from everywhere.
Esselink plays it back to his goalkeeper. Again, Ethan Ross goes to try and close him down, but Kucherenko fires it over the halfway line. Adams gets his head to it, and then Spencer does likewise, and he gets it back from Miller. Spencer gets his head up down the right hand side, but he just miscontrols it at the same time, allowing Papo to step in, and now Sybil takes over at the back, plays it to Esselink, and then gets it back once more, the United midfielder. Plays it square to Jovu, Moldovan international. Back to Bert Esselink. He clips it forward. It's knocked down by Waters to Sapsford, who's looking for a free kick, and John Beaton's not buying it, and Falkirk can break here. And it's Ross advancing up towards the edge of the penalty. He comes in field but just overruns it, and that allows Sybil to clear, but it's chested down by the Falkirk skipper Spencer, who sells McCann short though, and picked up by Kamara. And now it's Sapsford looking to play Kamara back in. He's going to get there ahead of Spencer. Early ball in, header comes in, and it should have been a better one from Waters straight at Scott Bain. And from 10 yards, I think that striker's got to do better than tamely head it into the gloves of Scott Bain. Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, definitely great play by Dundee United. That's that transition we're talking about. I think Spencer gives a short ball away. Who was it? I think it was
Kamara on the right-hand side.
Kamara jumped in there, nicked it, and then great ball. And I don't know if it got caught with the wind.
Yeah, I think he had to generate the pace himself, Waters, with the header. That's what made it a wee bit harder.
But it was a great chance. He's only about 12 yards out, right on his head. I think he just mistimed his jump. But it was a great, best opportunity for Dundee United so far.
Yeah, for sure. Here come Falkirk again. 27 played, 0-0. And Jovu will just try and see that out of play. Dylan Tate not making life easy for him though, and he's forced to play it. And then Chevalier goes down under the challenge of Ethan Ross, and that will be a free kick. Not much contact, but enough to justify Chevalier buying the foul there on that occasion, and it will be a free kick for United deep in their own half, just to the right hand side of the penalty area.
I think this is how we're going to see the game. Falkirk probably going to have majority of the ball. Dundee United are then going to transition and counter attack on them, and that's where they'll get their chances. Falkirk will get their chances from into Graham, and then the runners off balls in behind down the side, and then it's just how Falkirk adapt to when they lose the ball will be the probably key factor today.
Free kick then to be taken by Yevgeny Kucherenko, the 25-year-old keeper. Flicked on by Sapsford for Waters. Waters into the side netting this time. That's a better effort from the right-hand side of the penalty area. He got hold of it, but it was always going wide of Scott Bain's goal. I think he had it covered in his left-hand post, but better stuff up front from United. But 28 minutes in, it's still 0-0.
Yeah, just a bog standard header on and a decent run, but I don't think it was ever going to trouble the goal, and it was always the way he hit it okay, but he almost shanked it by the right post there.
Scott Bain has it at his feet at the edge of his penalty area. 0-0 between Falkirk and Dundee United on Falkirk's return to the big time after 15 years away, relegated at the end of the 2009-2010 season. And it has been a miserable experience for some of the fans at times, but they've continued for the most part to back their side in huge numbers, and of course over the last couple of years, as they really developed that winning mentality, they have come out here in huge numbers as they have today. And the side certainly acquitting themselves pretty well, but they just need to find an end product at times, as Ethan Ross and Chevalier challenge for the ball. It's gone Falkirk's way in terms of the throw-in on the left-hand side, midway inside the United half. Up comes Leon McCann to take this one. And off the ball, Kamara and Spencer, the two number 8s, tussling. Kamara hits the deck, up he gets once more as McCann weighs up his options here with the throw-in on the left-hand side. Ross makes a bit of movement. It's in for Graham instead. He nods it back the way. He got too much on it, I think. Wasn't what he was hoping to do. And United pick up right-hand side, and it's Kamara sliding it forward. And if Papo's onside, he could be in a good position here. Henderson trying to get back at him. Then it's Sapsford straight at the goalkeeper. Has to parry it away. The flag's up to stop the United attack, but just in the last few minutes, United starting to get a bit of joy in the forward areas.
Yeah, I think that was about 8 yards offside, maybe. I think it's one of those obvious ones. But again, for me, Kamara's been probably the best player for United. He's the one who's looks like he's got legs, he's got energy. He really seems to be really good at stepping in and intercepting tackles. He looks like United's sort of main player that's going to get them going today.
Guinea-Bissau international. Signed from Crawley Town, played the vast majority of their games in League One as they were relegated last season. Here's Ross coming forward down the left-hand side. Bars to the ground by Yovu. That was pretty blatant. Nowhere near the ball, and the Moldovan makes his case to John Beaton, but it's going to fall on deaf ears, and Falkirk have a free kick about 15 yards from the goal line. A couple in from the touchline on the left-hand side, and again, they've got good delivery here potentially. It's pretty blowy down there. We're not feeling it up here at the back of the stand, which is in stark contrast to what you usually feel here at the Falkirk Stadium, but we're pretty sheltered, but you can see that it's maybe a little bit difficult to judge these balls into the middle. Let's see how they fare this time, as it's Calvin Miller, an outswinger, the keeper high in the air with a punch. Not entirely convincing, you'd have to say, but he does get enough distance on it, and then it's helped on down the left-hand side. But Falkirk pick up only to nod it out of play over on the far side. Well, I mean, one of the things that I noticed that Jim Goodwin, in his description of his goalkeeper when they signed him, said he commands his area decisively, unwavering composure under pressure. I'm not sure that's a fitting description.
Well, I don't see it today. I think he's looked reasonably dodgy today on 2 or 3 occasions. It might be a one-off game, and Jim might be right over the course of a season, but I think he's looked really, really shaky.
Maybe it is blustery down there that we don't realise, because he's punched a few that you'd expect the goalie just to come and quite easily catch, wouldn't you? And he's actually just sort of kind of flapped his hand at it. It might be the conditions, it might be a wee bit of nerves.
0-0 it stands then. 32 minutes played at the Falkirk Stadium between Falkirk and Dundee United. The championship winners probably having the better of it so far, but in saying that, Scott Baines had a couple of bits of business to attend to just in the last few minutes as United try and make an impression at the other end. And here they come forward now. It's Yovu over the top, but Papo won't catch that one. Ethan Ross has just gone down off the ball and coming together with Chevalier. There's been a couple of them, but play continues. Out on the left-hand side, it's Falkirk in possession through Leon McCann. Just nudges it back to Liam Henderson, into his captain Brad Spencer, midway inside his own half, out to Lewis Nielsen towards the right. He's closed down by Papo, plays it forward, it's nodded down by Kerestesh, but only to Calvin Miller, who's just inside the United half, plays it infield to Spencer, up towards Graham, can't hold on to it, robbed by Sibbald, who finds Kamara in the middle of the park and invites his team to come forward. It's Dolchek up to the edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area. Good challenge, Lewis Nielsen, very composed, just bided his time and then put his foot in and took it off Dolchek, and Falkirk can come forward now. It's out to the left hand side as John McGlynn waves his players forward. It's Ethan Ross coming in off that left flank, still he has it away from Sibbalds, plays it out to Adams now. Adams looks up, slides it forward. Ethan Ross will continue his run, but having exerted so much energy in the initial run, he just didn't have the legs to catch it. Too much on it from Adams, and it's out for a goal kick. We've played almost 34 minutes, and it's Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, that was actually great defending by Lewis Nielsen. on their right hand side. I think Dundee United players are going to attack him. I think Keelan Adams just made a lung bursting run up, and then he's made one back again to try and track the Dundee United run, and then he's actually I think who was Ethan Ross playing the ball. I think his legs had gone by that point, and it was a real sloppy pass, because that was another great opportunity for Falkirk to attack him behind Dundee United.
It is warm out there as well, no doubt. A pleasant day here at the Falkirk Stadium on the opening Sunday of the Premiership. Here's Chevalier in an advanced area, plays it forward to Waters just outside the penalty area. He can't find Sapsford. The pair try to link up. United pick up the ball once more though, but McCann nods it back to Scott Bain.
Would you not just shoot it? Would you not just come and hit that as a striker?
I think you've got to shoot it. The worrying thing for me for Falkirk at the back four is that they're really quite far apart. There's a lot of spaces to go through them.
I think it's the way they play, isn't it? I think
of course it is,
Keelan Adams on the right hand side definitely just goes, and then that also drags out young Lewis Nielsen, and then the big gaps there. But that's probably 2 or 3 times, isn't it, Ian, that they've actually had the opportunity. If United can be better in that area, they will have really good opportunities.
Played forward by Miller, but you can't find the run of Adams, and United play it forward down the left hand side. Miller puts the challenge in, knocks it out of play for a throw-in to Dundee United. 10 minutes to the break, no goals at the Falkirk Stadium. A couple of decent chances for maybe one apiece for either side, but neither goalkeeper called into what you might call serious action, as Nielsen has it just at the edge of his penalty area and rolls it back to Scott Bain, who plays it out to the left hand side of the box to Henderson, and he plays it into the feet of Ethan Ross, who's come deep to get the ball, and then he knocks it back to Lewis Nielsen. Nielsen advances up towards the edge of the centre circle, looking for a couple of options. One of them is Brad Spencer out to his right hand side. Adams and Scott Arfield kind of both made the same run, and then Brad Spencer checked out of his run as Miller tried to find him, and United pick up through Kamara. And United have it at the back now through Yovu.
United are just growing into the game. You know, Falkirk are struggling a wee bit just to get that sort of fluidity in their game. Dundee United are picking up a lot of second balls, or loose passes, or loose touches, and Dundee United are just slowly coming back into the game now.
36 on the clock as United have a throw-in on the halfway line, right hand side. Wheatsco Chevalier to take this one. Having a word or two with the fourth official, Greg Suter, down there. Not sure what that's about, but anyway, he'll take this throw-in just a few yards now into the Falkirk half. And it comes to the feet of Sapsford, but Spencer sticks a toe in and manages to get it to Miller. Then it's back with Spencer. Graham manages to squeeze it to Arfield. Arfield for Spencer. He plays it down the left hand side. Ross will try and use his pace up against Chevalier, who does well to win it ahead of the winger, and then combines well with Yovu to clear the danger for Dundee United and knock it down the right hand side. Comfortable header though for Henderson, who gets it to Spencer, and now it's McCann left hand side for Tate. Tate comes forward, coming in off the left hand side. He's got McCann outside of him. McCann's got a crossing opportunity here, sends it deep looking for Miller. It's just beyond him though, and it's going to go all the way out to that far side for a throw-in, just a couple of yards away from the corner flag. McCann just overcooking that cross, but we know he's got good delivery.
As good as his last delivery was, that was as poor, because there was good options in the box. I think that Calvin Miller was coming round the back. Brian Graham made a good run. There was 2 or 3 in for the cutback, just overhit into an area, into the back area, and just running out for a throw-in.
United throw in then deep in their own half left hand side, flicked on down the left flank. Adams returns it into Graham, wearing the number 7 this year.
He'll hate that. He'll absolutely
number 9 all day long, isn't he?
The number 7, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Ross McKeever's already got that bagsied. Anyway, here come Falkirk into the box. It's not going to quite reach Ethan Ross. It's cleared. There's a little stumble from the challenge of Papo. Gets away with it, and he's able to clear his lines up towards Waters, who brings it over the halfway line. Now he'll be closed down by Nielsen. Nielsen just sees him out of play. I like Nielsen, I have to say, as a centre back. He's still young, just 22, and he's had plenty of football, mainly on loan over the last few seasons, and Falkirk will benefit from that this year. And they come forward here. Tate clips it over the left. He was looking for the run there of McCann, was never going to reach him, and Sapsford knocks it back to Chevalier, still just outside the United penalty area. Plays it infield to Esselink, just gets away with that pass out to the left for Kerestesh. on the left hand side, just managed to get that away from Calvin Miller. We've got about 6 minutes left plus any added on time in this first period. We still await the first goal between Falkirk and United, last season's championship winners against the previous season's championship winners. United, of course, qualifying for Europe by dint of finishing 4th in the league. And here they come forward through Sibbald on the left hand side of the box. Can he pick out a teammate? Checks back inside away from Adams. Still with the opportunity to fire it across goal, and it'll come out. It's in the back of the net. That is Waters lashing it in. Falkirk's clearance didn't get enough distance on it. It fell kindly for Max Waters, and in his 3rd Dundee United appearance, he has opened the scoring here at the Falkirk Stadium. 5 minutes to play in the first period, and it's Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1.
Listen, it looked a simple finish, but it was an absolutely terrific finish. It was made by Sibbald. He's ran, it's not something he's known for. He's ran beyond the back four, got on it, little trick, fired it across, and it's an absolutely outstanding finish into the top corner.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, for me, it's the run by Sibbald. It's that space we talked about in between the centre half and the fullback. He's made the run and he's put the ball in. I was actually about to criticise Waters there for he's got to do better for United in his link-up play and his joining in the game. But what a finish! And again, it's that second sort of 6-yard box we talk about. He's just standing there waiting for the ball to come, and he just rifled into the roof of the net. And it's Dundee United were coming back into the game. We had to say that they were getting opportunities, and they're now taking one of these opportunities.
Yeah, I think although Falkirk have been the better team, there's no surprise that Dundee United scored there, given the last 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I did mention that Falkirk would want to capitalise on their early better play, their early dominance, if you like, and they weren't able to do that. And particularly when you move up a level, you are going to more likely be punished than perhaps if that happened in the Championship. And they have been made to pay by Max Waters, the English striker, striking his first goal on his first start for United, having come on in the 2 European games, and he finished that very, very well, you'd have to say. And Falkirk then with 4 minutes of the first period to do something about it if they're to come in level. We've got a free kick out on the right hand side now, about another 10 or 15 yards outside the penalty area. Spencer and Miller over this as they look for a quick equaliser, which they might feel they deserve from their first half efforts. It's Spencer near post. Arfield can't get much on it. Graham with his back to goal. Can he stumble it in? He's still trying to scramble it in, but he was backpedaling. He just couldn't spin and get the shot off, and eventually Kucherenko's able to grab it before the Falkirk striker could knock it into the net, and it remains Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1.
Yeah, a little scramash there. Brian's just using his body. He's actually probably trying to buy the penalty, isn't he? I think he's backing in. He's waiting for somebody to try and tackle him and fall down. But again, good defending by Dundee United.
Knocked long there by United all the way through to Bain. Beaten for the first time this afternoon by Max Waters just a couple of minutes ago. Falkirk having to regroup now then, having enjoyed plenty of the ball in this opening half, but it's United who've made the breakthrough, and Henderson's ball forward has probably got too much on it, but there's a bit of confusion in the United backline. Esslink's clearance is not a good one. Arfield, and then Graham will try and make something of it. Comes back to Arfield, just wide with a shot. Goal kick only, although he claims for a corner, probably a yard or two wide. Didn't quite get hold of it as he would have wanted to. Scott Arfield from about 20 yards, and the goalkeeper sees it wide, and it's still Falkirk 0. Dundee United 1, 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, not a lot of build-up play there. It was just forward early, and Brian's fighting for the ball, but you're right though, he didn't catch it well, although I've seen those ones kind of roll into the corner if it's right in the corner, but it was never going to trouble the goalie.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper actually could do better than the original long ball. I think that wee bit indecisive, wasn't he? I think doing it again, the wind, the pitch, but for me he's got to come out and command his box and just deal with the situation. That would make it a lot easier for Dundee United.
It's United then coming forward in these closing stages of the first period, albeit going back the way now as they hold a 1-goal advantage here at the Falkirk Stadium. It's Yovu out to the right hand side for Chevalier. And Waters, the goal scorer, picks up on the halfway line, turns away from Ross and gets it back to Víctor Chevalier. Good ball in the channel there for the right hand side for Sapsford. Sapsford lifts it into the edge of the area. There's a chance here, and it's a challenge that comes in.
Can't believe he never hit it in a volley.
Well, it just ends up going wide for a corner. I think was it Waters again who picked up on the edge of the box and might well have gone for goal immediately, but he was challenged in the end as he tried to bring it under control, and it's out for a United corner instead. Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1 into the final minute of the 45.
Again, that's the same, what we've just talked about, is they were wide open. There's one running behind, you know, and again it was free at the back post, and again you're right, maybe should have just volleyed it straight away. I think he's let it bounce, and I think it was Calvin Miller managed to get back in and make a last ditch tackle.
United corner then, right hand side in the closing seconds of this opening period. Swung in towards the back post. Bain comes out and gets a good fist to it, helped on by McCann, picked up though by Papo in the midfield, and he just knocks it back to Chevalier, who'll return it back into the penalty area. Sapsford, not sure if he was on or offside, but he can't bring it under control in any event, and it's behind for a goal kick as we await the fourth officials board to see exactly how much time. 1 minute will be added on at the end of this first half. There's a Falkirk player down at the edge of the 6-yard box. Can't quite see, is that Liam Henderson?
Yeah, it's Henderson.
Henderson just been helped to his feet by John Beaton, the referee. He'll not require treatment, but might get some at half time if necessary. But Scott Bain about to take the goal kick, but it looks like United will take the 1 goal advantage in at the break. And well, it's a school of quick learning, the Premiership. If you're a little bit wasteful in front of goal, you are going to be made to pay. And Falkirk, despite having the better of the early period, are a goal behind to Dundee United, who've just that year of experience last season to help them in their cause here, albeit only a couple of those players played in it. Falkirk wanted to take the free kick quickly. I think there was a bit of impeding going on, but regardless of that, John Beaton has just decided it's half time in any case, and ending all arguments about that. Says Falkirk troop off then with the heads bowed a little, because they are a goal behind on Flag Day here. Such a momentous occasion for them, returning to the top flight after 15 years away, and they started really well. Calvin Miller with a diving header after 21 minutes, probably as close as they came, and as the half hour approached, you felt that United were just edging their way back into the game. Waters headed straight at Scott Bain when he might have done better, and then he sent another effort wide just after that. And then 5 minutes before the break, former Falkirk man and hero Craig Sybil broke down the left hand side. His cross wasn't effectively cleared. It set up kindly for Max Waters, who still had plenty to do, but he fired a terrific volley past Scott Bain and opened the scoring on his first start for his new club. And although Brian Graham had a half chance a couple of minutes later, he couldn't turn and get the shot away. Scott Arfield sent one wide just moments later. But at half time at the Falkirk Stadium, it's Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1.
The Scottish Premiership.
Live on Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
In Destination X, 13 players compete for £100,000. All they have to do is guess where in the world they are. Easy, right? Wrong. You see, they're on a bus that's driving through France. Or maybe it's Germany. Wait, was that the Leaning Tower of Pisa? They don't know who or what to trust. Sometimes they can't even believe their own eyes. I love it. Welcome to Destination X, the new game show where nowhere is as it seems. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Dundee United kicking off the season with back-to-back 1-0 wins in European competition. And right now, they are 1-0 up at the Falkirk Stadium. Max Waters with the well-struck volley 5 minutes before half-time. And they kind of weathered a little bit of a storm, I suppose, Ian McCall. They've certainly looked more settled in the second period of that half.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you're spot on in terms of it was a little storm. I mean, it was 5-10 minutes. I think Falkirk started very well. There was one good delivery into the box. Ironically, the goal came from, the one thing that Falkirk do really well it was a run from midfield in behind. I thought for 15-20 minutes, although Falkirk were playing reasonably well, they didn't really have an awful lot of right good chances. Whereas you're thinking Dundee United were getting in behind. I don't know what it looked like in the telly, but Dundee United were getting in behind Falkirk way too easily. Yeah. There was an awful lot of space down the right channel, down the left channel where they got the goal from, and you just felt, even though Falkirk were probably the better team, I don't know, I felt Dundee United were more likely to score, and it came, and it was a terrific finish from Max Waters. And the one thing I'll say is that the middle three, Papau, Tybalt and Kamara, and particularly Kamara, very mobile. I think he's done really well. All three of them get about the pitch really well, and they can play, they move the ball around well. So, without saying Dundee United deserve to be ahead, Richard, they certainly deserve at least a draw, and it's no surprise to me that they took the lead.
Yeah, I mean, got to be just that one opportunity, Callum, for Falkirk when Calvin Miller dived in. I mean, it was a difficult one to take, wasn't it? And he would have had to be quite fortunate to time it absolutely 100% right, but he couldn't quite get on target. That's been pretty much it from the Championship winners from last season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think they have played well for the first 15-20 minutes. I think for me their levels probably dropped a little bit after then, and Dundee United obviously started to pick up a lot of good ball in the middle areas. I thought Falkirk maybe a bit wasteful in possession, allowed Dundee United then to go and counter. I think for me Kamara's been the main player for United. I thought they struggled in the first 20 minutes to do anything, any kind of sort of phases of play, any sort of build up. And then the game, when Falkirk started to lose the ball, their back four started to open up. Falkirk's back four was wide open, and then it's picking the right pass. I was about to criticise Waters for not doing enough when he gets the ball in possession. There's loads of times you could have linked it, and one or two passes United be in or in behind, and then he comes up with a fantastic strike to score. Again, for me, what Falkirk realised is that it's the physicality. I think Ethan Ross last year, he would run past people like they weren't there. This year he's up at Sevier. I think he's up against him. And I think he's it's a different athlete, so different little things they'll have to learn as they go along. He can't just run beyond players like it was maybe last year or the year before, and that's the level they're playing at. But then they'll adjust their game. Again, they'll probably come out and start the same way. I'd imagine Falkirk, and they might get a couple of chances, but John would want a wee bit more from them, I think. I think that quality in the final third, Brian Graham said a couple of times where he could have linked it better. They had good runs in behind. Maybe they got to start playing a few more of them. What caused Dundee United problems in the first half?
Just the one goal so far. It has come for Dundee United. Craig Sibbald with a run down the left, the cross. Henderson attempting to make the clearance, but could only just lift the ball up into the air from 10 yards. It was a very well taken, very well controlled volley by Max Waters, who smashed it past Scott Bain. Half-time, Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1. Remember, it's a 3 o'clock kick-off at Dent. We'll have regular updates from that match, Dundee against Hibernian. Brian McLaughlin is our man at the game, and he's been chatting, first of all, to Stephen Presley.
Stephen, happy new season to you. I've just given you a little stat there. It's 15 years since you took charge, or last took charge anyway, of a top flight game here in Scotland. You didn't realise that, did you?
I didn't, Brian, and it's kind of worrying.
Nothing's changed in that time.
Yeah, there's a lot more grey here. Let me assure you that.
What are you expecting today from your team? And I'm just looking through the changes. 4 of them, we switched 4 players on the bench, but no Simon Murray. That must be a huge blow.
Well, it's an enormous blow for ourselves. I think when you look at the team that is playing today, virtually every goal from last season has come out of the squad with Simon's absence. So that shows you in itself the enormity of the challenge in front of us. But it is a challenge, and it's one that we're going to embrace, and it's one that we're going to work towards. But it's a very difficult opening game fixture against a team that are very much up to speed, that have played a couple of high-profile games thus far. But we're certainly looking forward to the challenge.
There's 6 weeks in the door now, Stephen. How difficult has that been in terms of trying to put a team on the pitch to compete almost immediately in the League Cup, but then particularly today?
It's been hugely challenging, Brian. I've not hid from that fact that we still are 6 players away from getting our squad together. We've got a lot of recruitment over the next 3.5, 4 weeks to complete. The players themselves, the current group of players, have been hugely receptive. They've worked very hard, but they also need support, and hopefully over time we can get that support. But it's also been a real learning curve for me, because I came in here and I had some ideas about how I thought we could move forward, and then working with the players and seeing their strengths and their weaknesses, I've had to adapt, and I've had to change how we're going to play, and I think that that's part of management, and for the short term we're certainly looking for those solutions.
Stephen Presley, really interesting listening into what he had to say to Brian McLaughlin. Brian also being chatting with the Hibernian gaffer David Gray.
Well, David, I wasn't there on Thursday night, but I felt for you. You put an awful lot of effort into that. Have the players recovered well enough from it though?
Yeah, I think I was very quick to remind the players of the level of performance we put in over both legs, and the competitive fixtures, was of a really high standard, really high level. Now, clearly the disappointment straight after the game, the manner in which we lost the game after 119 minutes into scored in, so that was obviously a blow to the players, but very quick to remind them this is what it's all about, league football. This is what all pre-season's been about as well, to make sure you're ready for the first competitive league game of the season, and we want to go off to the best start we possibly can.
You've made only the one change. Does that tell us that by and large that you're quite happy with the way that things have been going?
Yeah, well, I think even when you look at how the game went, there was a few players that played significant minutes going to extra time, but even the players, when you take players off in 60-70 minutes, the subs that came on played a large period of the game as well. So, and it is only one game into the season. It's not as if we're 5-6 games down the line when you feel the need to rotate. The performance level has been really high standard, so I'm conscious of that as well. So just the one change, Junior comes in, which will give us real quality. We know that, we know what to get from him, and it's not a reflection on how anybody else has done. It's just the one change in that area.
In terms of Dundee, what do you expect from them? Because to say Stephen Presley's had a difficult time is probably not doing it justice.
I think, listen, he's a new manager coming into the new club. He'll want to start the season well. The players will all be looking to try and start as well as they can as well. So we know we're up against it from that point of view. We know we've got the players ready. They're going to expect that. I think as well, with how well we done last season, the expectation of the football club's rising all the time. So we know we need to be our very best to come up here and get a result, because it'll be a real tough test. It always is when we come up, and that's regardless of who the manager is. To be honest, the test is always a tough one. But again, this is what players need to be looking forward to. First league game of the season, you want to get off to as good a start as you can, and that's the focus for the players now.
You mentioned those expectations. Given what happened last season, can you see the belief in the players and that they can carry on from that campaign?
Well, that's a challenge for everybody, and what I said right at the very back end of last season, one thing we can't do is rest on the fact that we've done well last year. This is a new season. I said it was going to be difficult. There's a lot of new managers, one today, new players coming into the league all the time, and the challenge is to always keep improving as a group. One thing we can't do is believe the hype of last season. You need to then go and do it again and continually get better. I'm happy with how we've started in terms of the two competitive fixtures. The squad's settled really well, but again, it's going to be a real tough test today, and we need to be our best.
Finally, any update in Grant Hanley's yet?
Brian, it's before the game. I'm going to be talking about the game today. My full focus is on Dundee. You can ask me after if you want.
I'll do that. Thanks.
Thank you.
All the best.
And I'm sure he will do that very thing. Brian, you've spoken to both managers, how would you assess the respective moods in the camp?
Interesting, Richard. Stephen Presley just walked out the tunnel here at Dens Park and was roundly booed by the Hibs fans, which led to almost a standing ovation from about half the Dundee support, you would say. Now, whether that's going to be the case come the end of the 90 minutes, I'm not so sure, because it's fair to say, Richard, there's much more expectation now from the Hibernian fans rather than the Dundee support. And indeed, one fan said to me earlier on today, give me 0-0 now, and they'll gladly take it today. Stephen has been very open and honest in saying, look, they need 6 new players in. The work is ongoing. I believe they're sort of about 50% of the way there with 3 players. Whether those will happen in the next week or so, though, I don't know. But he is having huge issues in trying to entice players to the club. He says he's told me that they're being outbid by players from sometimes the National League in England. That's not to say Dundee don't have a fair budget. They do have a fair budget, but sadly for Dundee at the moment, they're really having a big problem in bringing players up to the club.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much indeed. Gets underway, within the next minute or two, and Brian will be right across it. That's Dundee against Hibernian. We'll have live commentary, Celtic against St Mirren. That's on 4:30 here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland, and all the highlights from the 3 games today and the 2 that are already taking place this weekend. That'll be on Sports Scene, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. A busy week ahead. There's plenty live coverage on the radio. Monday night, Hearts against Aberdeen. Tuesday, Rangers against Victoria Pilsen. Thursday, Hibernian and Dundee United both in European action. That United tie live on Sports Scene on the telly as well. And there's also live Championship action next Friday. Cracker, absolute cracker, between Ross County and St Johnstone. And throughout the week, the Scottish Football Daily Podcast, Monday to Friday. And do look out online as well for the SPFL lower leagues highlights, so the goals, the best of the action from the championships, Leagues 1 and 2, all wrapped up into a really good product that the guys put out on the website. It's always good to catch up, and particularly early part of the season, you're seeing players that you perhaps haven't even realised had signed for certain clubs. So do look out for that online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. We've got live commentary to come from Celtic Park. Just like at Falkirk Stadium, there will be the unfurling of the flag in the east end of Glasgow as Celtic and St Mirren prepare to go head-to-head, prepare to get their Premiership campaigns up and running. Dundee Hibernian just getting underway. Brian will update us on that, and remember, just the 1 goal so far at the Falkirk Stadium. It was scored, and it's a first goal for his new club, for Max Waters. A really fine volley from about 10 yards or so that left Scott Bain absolutely flat-footed and no chance at all of even reacting to the strike. Such was the ferocity of it. So Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1. It is live second half commentary to come from the Falkirk Stadium here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland with Callum Davidson, Ian McCall and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. Falkirk are back out. No sign yet of Dundee United as they prepare to defend a lead or try and extend it in this second period. And no changes certainly to the Falkirk lineup for the second half, not yet. And here come the officials. United will soon follow them, but certainly if United can go on and win this, having won the 2 European games, it goes down as a very good start to the season. I gather that their performances in Europe weren't wholly convincing, but if you can find a way to win while you're still trying to mould new players into a cohesive unit, then it's very much job done. As United return to the field, a couple of stragglers, but out come Vitsko Chevalier and Ivan Dolcek to join their teammates, and we are ready to get back up and running for the second half. We'll keep you up to date with any goals that go in at Dens Park between Dundee and Hibs, but the main focus here is on the second half of Falkirk against Dundee United, with Falkirk trying to start swiftly here, and it's Calvin Miller inside the penalty area, right hand side, plays it across goal, and it's hacked away there by Yovu as Falkirk again start brightly, just couldn't find the equalising goal in that first 40 forward of the second period.
Great move by Calvin Miller. He just spins the defender in behind, better quality cross, and it's been a great opportunity.
That's Miller putting it in once more. Again, it's dealt with though by the United back line. And Dundee United will try and move forward, but Spencer picks up and gets out to the right hand side to Adams, about 10 yards into the United half, and now it's Tate with an opportunity to put another ball in, and it's a good save actually by the goalkeeper, or a good take I should say. It was a good ball in into like an uncertain area, and out came Kucherenko for the first time, really showing commanding presence. But Falkirk picked up again. It's Arfield. He stopped in his tracks at the edge of the box by a good challenge from Papo. Had to get that one exactly right, and Dundee United will try and come forward. It's good play from Waters. He's nicked it from Henderson into the area. He comes, but he's hit it straight at Scott Bain at the near post, but gets a warning sign for Falkirk that they might dominate the attacking play, but they can be vulnerable on the counter-attack, as we saw there. Still 1-0 United.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent enough ball into an area, but Henderson's got to deal with it better. Whether it stood up in the wind, I don't know. But good play from Waters, positive, and got his strike away. Comfortable save though.
So Falkirk going from left to right in this second half. If we look at it from the back of the main stand here, it's given away in the midfield by Falkirk, and Sybil will try and profit from that as he drives towards the edge of the penalty area. He slides it into Sapsford, who's slightly on his heels, but it wasn't a good ball, and I think Sybil acknowledges that he put too much weight on the pass.
He's got to hit it, he's got to shoot. He's 20 yards, you know, and he's done ever so well to play a wee 1-2 round the corner. He's got to go and shoot at the goal.
That's a typical training ground 3v2 situation there, isn't it? Whether you shoot or you slide past. I think it's Sybil. Craig would expect a lot better from himself in that position.
Falkirk have it, right hand side. Adams rolls it into Miller, who's in a central area, gets through the challenge. Graham can't make anything of it though, and it'll be picked up by Papo and then knocked into the middle of the park for Kamara, and he's able to bound forwards here. Dundee United have got bodies in attacking positions. Can he find Waters? Sapsford's got to do better with the cross there. Beyond Waters it goes, picked up on the left hand side by Dolcek, who just holds on to it and then finds Papo fending off Arfield and getting it back to Dolcek left hand side, and now it's the full-back Kiristesh. United are back in the halfway line when they were in an advanced position, but they'll try and build once more. Waters can't quite bring it under control, but Kamara helps it back the way to Yovu, just inside his own half now. Plays it square to S-Link. Dolcek trying to hold his line on this left-hand side to get the pass, but it's Chevalier who gets onto it, and it's picked out a pass for Sapsford, who again hits the deck way too easily. John Beaton's had enough of it, and he shows him a yellow card, and I think that's entirely warranted.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to grab his arm. It'll be actually interesting to see that on VAR, but he makes a meal of it. He's just got to stay on his feet and take a better touch. He's got a great opportunity to score. This game is wide open at the moment. Both teams, Falkirk had a couple of great opportunities, and then Dundee United probably had 2 or 3 opportunities, haven't they, with a little bit better, a little bit more composure, and it's an easy chance to score goals.
There's going to be a slight delay as VAR check whether there was actually any contact there, and whether in actual fact United should have had a penalty. Jim Goodwin certainly believes they should have. He's making his case to the 4th official, Greg Suter, but VAR, Callum Scott's in charge there, and he backs up John Beaton's take that there was no contact, or certainly not sufficient to send Sapsford to the ground as he did.
I think Henderson just had a light arm on his shoulder. As soon as he's felt that, I think he's just fallen over, but not enough to go down. Young lad's just got to stay on his feet.
That's a brilliant ball from Dylan Tate down the right hand side. Adams will get there, and there's a slip from the United backman, and it's Adams at the goal line. Can he pick out a teammate here? It's come all the way across goal. It's laid back here for Tate. That's a brilliant equaliser. What a goal from Falkirk. Tate started it with a wonderful pass down the right. Keelan Adams picked up possession, got the benefit of a slip from a United defender, and still had the composure though to lift his head, managed to get it back into the penalty area. It was laid into the path of Dylan Tate, who smashes it into the roof of the net. It's Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1.
Just an unbelievable finish from a player who's been absolutely terrific the whole game. I mean, it was great composure. Adams going down the right. He got a little bit of fortune, but good delivery into the box. And then I think it might have been Ross who, instead of shot, just laid a little ball, and he's absolutely curled it with pace. Goalie, no chance. Great goal.
Yeah, very similar to Dundee United's goal, wasn't it? A run down the side, good ball in the box there, and I think it's great composure. Ethan Ross, I think it was. So he just laid it back to Dylan Tate, and he's rifled it in the roof of the net. Fantastic goal by Falkirk.
Dylan Tate, Falkirk's top scorer this season. That's his 5th already, 4 in the League Cup, and now 1 to draw his side level at home here in their curtain raiser, having returned to the top flight, and that was a goal befitting of the occasion, made by Dylan Tate and finished by Dylan Tate in some style. But here come United once more. It's Dolcek, but he's put too much on the cross, and it's going to drift out of play, and Dylan Tate, he's another one of those players who have got bags of potential, but perhaps hadn't quite realised it until John McGlynn brought him to Falkirk, put some trust in him in the middle of the park alongside another former Wraith Rovers man, Brad Spencer, and he is absolutely flourishing in there, and he took that goal absolutely brilliantly to draw his side level.
Yeah, I think Dylan Tate, I think when he was younger, he had all the ability in the world. I think fitness levels have gone up, attitude's gone up, and I think, playing just regular games, he's got that. He's a wee bit different to sort of a lot of midfielders. He will join in, he will do things differently. It's a big season for Dylan.
Well, the Falkirk fans have certainly found their voice now as they come forward once more. It's Ethan Ross trying to get there down the left-hand side. Some of the fans thought he was fouled, and Ethan Ross probably felt that as well, but John Beaton thought otherwise. Spencer with a slack touch as Falkirk try and pick up in the middle, and United can try and counter. Kamara trying to force it forward. He was fouled by Spencer on the halfway line. Free kick was quickly taken, but it was moving, says John Beaton, and it'll have to be taken again. 7.5 minutes gone at the start of a breathless second half, you would have to say, and Falkirk drawn level through Dylan Tate to cancel out Max Waters' first half strike. And we've certainly got a game in our hands now.
Yeah, definitely don't think its defence is on top at the moment. I think it's somebody who organised their defensive shape might actually end up winning the game. But a lot of opportunities for both teams to go and attack.
Here's Dolchek left hand side for United. Kamara plays it back the way to Kerestesh. United have it at the back, and it's Yovu out to the right hand side for Chevalier. Tries to force it forward, playing it right back. Slightly unfamiliar role for Chevalier. He certainly played there before, but probably not his natural or ideal position, but he is a very versatile player for United, and good to have as Falkirk pick up through Henderson. Plays it square inside his own half to Nielsen. Nielsen forward for Arfield. Arfield can't quite hold on to it, but it does fall for Tate, who just hoists it forward, hopefully. Doesn't come to Miller, but Arfield nods it forward once more, but that's picked up by Sibbald. And then Esselink finds Kamara for United, out to the left-hand side, just plays it behind Dolchek.
I don't know where Dolchek was running there. He just holds his position as a wide man, and he takes the ball and he goes 1-on-1 against the fullback.
Yeah, I suppose that is the kind of thing that might happen when you're part of a new team and you've not had all that much time perhaps playing together on the training ground or whatever it might be, and the link-ups are not quite natural.
Yeah, I think it's just understanding the playing together there. He probably could have gone both ways. I think Dolchek was one in behind, where probably the best one was just to stay at feet, but I think Kamara had seen him just to feet. Just that little bit of misunderstanding.
United throw in midway inside their own half, right hand side, to be taken by Chevalier up towards the halfway line, won by Henderson, who's towered above everyone for the most part at the back for Falkirk. Graham gets something on it and then looks to get it back from Arfield. Brian Graham, a good bit of skill left hand side into the penalty area. His progress is halted, but at the expense of a Falkirk corner, and the appreciation of the fans here.
It's amazing what a goal does for supporters, doesn't it? You can feel the noise, you can feel the energy in the stadium at the moment. It's probably mostly Falkirk since they've scored.
55 played, one apiece at the Falkirk Stadium. Still 0-0 between Dundee and Hibs in the opening 10 minutes there, as Falkirk have this corner kick from the left hand side to be taken by Spencer. Curls it in, the keeper takes that one comfortably at the edge of his 6-yard box. Good take, and immediately he bowls it out long up towards Dolchek, and now that's clearly going to be a yellow card taken by Keelan Adams. He was kind of forced into that. He was caught the wrong side as Falkirk were trying to get bodies back. United were flooding forward and he pulled back Papo, and it's a yellow card for Keelan Adams.
Miles better from Kucherenko. I mean, a great come and take, safe hands, and then a really good early throw.
Yeah, Keelan Adams though, just as well, he's got to understand he's getting the counter attack. He's actually jumped out, he's put himself in a position where he has to take that foul because of his trying to read the game. But again, he's just got to hold his position there. He's now on a booking for the rest of the game.
Yep, free kick to United about 15 yards into the Falkirk half. The spot swung in, and again you get an idea of a strong wind out there. It doesn't quite reach the penalty area. and Falkirk are able to pick up on the left-hand side. McCann smashes it forward, but that's going to... Ethan Ross has managed to keep it in, but can't bring it under control. Puts pressure on Esselink, though. He manages to get it to Sibbald, and then Sapo into Yovu, and this is Esselink out to the left-hand side for Kamara, who steps away from Calvin Miller. Kamara on the halfway line, just rolls it back to Yovu once more, and now it's Chevalier just inside his own half, clips it forward, looking for Sapsford. He bring it under control at the edge of the box. He can. He gets back to goal, slips it into Waters, gets it back. Sapsford with a snapshot about a yard wide of Scott Bain's near post. Again, the keeper had it covered, but better link-up play between the two strikers as Falkirk prepared to make a couple of changes. Aidan Nesbitt is one of those, and it's going to be Ross McKeever as well to replace Brian Graham. And Brian Graham, despite his advancing years, very rarely came off for Partick Thistle last year, but
that's because he was the manager.
Well, that's partly it. But 57 minutes into this one, he's going to be replaced by Ross McKeever, and Aidan Nesbitt is going to replace Scott Arfield, presumably just in that kind of 10 position.
The number 9 that came on, Ross McKeever, there will be nobody in the Premier League better in the air this season.
Really?
Nobody. You watch. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as some of the other players, but he's unbelievable in there.
I think Falkirk have had a bit of interest in him from elsewhere, but he's still part of the Falkirk squad. Certainly didn't have a massive role to play, you'd have to say. I think injury affected last season as much as anything.
He was injured for a wee bit of the season. But a real important player, from very similar to Brian, aren't they? They're both quite similar players, aren't they?
I had him at Thistle, and it just basically couldn't get in the team because of Brian.
Oh, here they come, Falkirk. It's Ethan Ross, just didn't quite sit for him on that left-hand side of the box. He has won a corner. It looked like he was in on goal there, but the ball just wouldn't fall in his path kindly, and it's behind for a corner instead. Quickly taken, back to Spencer it goes. Spencer to the edge of the box, he'll get it back once more. Spencer tries to curl it, it's blocked, comes to Miller at the edge. Little flick between his legs, goes for goal, right foot straight down the throat of the keeper, and it's still one apiece after 58 minutes. United try to get things moving quickly, and it's Waters coming forward. Across comes McCann. Makes the interception well, probably had more time than he realised to mop things up more tidily, but he's just hammered it out of play over on the far side, taking no chances. But it's very end-to-end.
It's entertaining, but again, I think it was Sibbald just let Spencer run off him, and then Keelan Adams just let Waters run off him as well there. So again, defensively, both teams need to improve on that side.
You would have to say, though, again, Ian, like the start of the first half, Falkirk definitely the better team. Is that fair?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They're still very, very open. But I would say, I mean, their last break, it was almost too fast, because Ross didn't have anybody in the middle to hit. There was no support run, but they still looked really open. I mean, that was one straight ball. Nielsen didn't challenge well enough, and Waters is in and goal.
And United have got themselves a free kick about 20 yards into the Falkirk half. We're going to cross to Dens Park shortly, but Dundee United have taken this free kick quickly, and then Sapsford plays it into the area, but Scott Bain at full stretch clutches that before any United player can get on the end of it, and it remains one apiece. We will get up to Dens very shortly, but ball's still in play here. Spencer brings it out from the back, looking for options. Eventually spreads it out to the right hand side to Keelan Adams. Adams comes forward, Miller's outside him, hugging the touchline, and here he is. Left-footed player comes in and plays it to Spencer. Two of the real key men for Falkirk last season, you'd have to say. Miller goes down off the ball as he clipped there by Esselink. The referee has taken a while to give that decision, but he has eventually. Let's quickly cross to Brian, and let's see what's happening at Dens.
Yeah, 17 minutes here. Still Dundee nil, Hibernian nil. A flurry of corners for Hibernian in the opening few minutes. Didn't come to much at all. Dundee, though, slowly edging into the game. That said, it's another corner coming up for Hibernian, who have been certainly the better side in the opening 17 minutes. It's Dundee nil, Hibernian nil.
Thanks, Brian. Yellow card here for Christian Kerestes, the Hungarian defender who's playing at left back. He just caught Miller, I think, off the ball there, and I assume John Beaton was trying to see if there was going to be an advantage to Falkirk. It didn't come, but now they have a free kick in a pretty good position. Right hand side, about 8 yards maybe in from the right touch line, out from the angle of the edge of the penalty area, maybe about another 10 yards. Plenty bodies forward as Miller whips it in. It's a low ball and it's comfortably dealt with by, I think, Sapsford. Picked up though by Adams, who steps away from Papo. Adams almost wriggled through a couple of challenges there, but didn't quite get the break of the ball, and Falkirk have to do a bit of defending. But Nesbitt and Spencer combine to get it forward once more, and it's knocked out of play as Kerestej and Calvin Miller exchange opinions about something, and Falkirk continue. Adams with a poor cross on that occasion, but it comes back out to Tate, right hand side. Again, not a brilliant delivery, and United able to deal with it, and they'll try and come forward down the left, just beyond the hour mark. 62 minutes on the clock. 1-1 it stands, and Falkirk looking the likelier side right now, having brought themselves back on level terms earlier in the second half through Dylan Tate's fabulous finish, and United looking to try and build back into the game, as they did very well in the first half and eventually got themselves in front through Max Waters. Here's Dolcek, the left winger, putting it back away to his centre back Jovu. Jovu will bring it up to the halfway line, right of centre, looks to try and clip that over the top for Chevalier, who's making the run. He's done well, but almost stay in play there, and that's going to be a corner. That's good work, you'd have to say, from Sapsford, managing to keep it in, and the cross was blocked and behind for a corner to United.
Yeah, just chasing a lost cause, does really well, and wins a corner for his team, of which they may have a goal scoring opportunity.
So a corner kick right hand side for United. You can see the corner flags blowing quite strongly out on that far side towards the Falkirk goal, so this will swing in, you would imagine. Can he use the wind effectively? It's McKeever who meets it at the near post. It comes back out to Dolcek over on that far side. He can't get the better of Ethan Ross, and it comes off Ross and out for a throw-in over on the far side to United, about 10 yards from the flag. One apiece then, 0-0 at Dens. Celtic St Mirren to come. Full live commentary of that from Celtic Park as United prepare to take the throw in here. It's Papo, right hand side, to hurl it in. It's flicked on and into the middle. Sapsford gets his head to it, but it's well wide of the target, and Scott Bain not troubled by that one, as United prepare to make a change, and that is Owen Sturton, who's about to come on. His name has somehow dropped off the top of the official team sheet, but thankfully I've got him on my own list. So the number 34 is going to come on, and it's the goal scorer Max Waters, who's been replaced by the teenage striker, one of Dundee United's own, come through the youth academy, just 18 years of age, but coming on for his third appearance, and he's getting a final word from Jim Goodwin. He's another imposing player going to come on in a forward area as Jim Goodwin tries to turn this game back in his side's favour. 25 minutes or thereabouts to play here at the Falkirk Stadium. It's still one each, it's still anyone's game. A very entertaining spectacle for those who have turned out here to watch it. It's Scott Bain then clearing the ball well over the halfway line. It's one for McKeever to go and tussle for, and he's done well, and it sets up for him, and he thought about the shot, and maybe he should just have taken it on slightly earlier. Eventually it was blocked, and United have stolen it, and they'll come forward through Papo out to the left hand side then for Sturton, blonde haired forward for United. Is it back to Papo, who does well to hold on to it. He's under a bit of pressure, but he gets the pass off to Jovu. Jovu inside his own half, plays it square to Esselink, and now Sybil takes over once more, and then tries to clip it out to the right hand side to Chevalier, who's in a bit of space here. Ross will go across and try and close him down. Chevalier rather stands on the ball, and his momentum is halted, and he goes back instead to Jovu in the halfway line. He'll play it square to Esselink. Esselink in the centre circle, looks to lift it over the top of Adams, and Adams gets back to head it into Scott Bain. Looked like he was almost caught out there, Adams, but he recovered well to make that defensive header, with the winger Dolcek looking to capitalise if he'd made any sort of error there. And so with what we got, 24 minutes left to play here at Falkirk Stadium, it's Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1.
Yeah, good defending by the young man. He's tested a few times that ball over the top, but his body shape was really good, and just defended, knocked it back to the goalkeeper.
Again, McKeever's the target. Again, McKeever wins it, but no Falkirk player can get onto the second ball. But Ian McCall's already being vindicated with his opinion of McKeever as a header of the ball. He's won everything that's come up to him since coming on. And Scott Bain, under a bit of pressure from Sturton, actually he's forced to just slice the ball out of play on the halfway line as he tried to clear.
Very similar to the first half. Dundee United are just slowly coming back into it. Falkirk started really well. Now it's Dundee United's turn just to have a little bit more possession of the ball, a little bit more control.
Adams for Falkirk finds Spencer, and Nisbet. He's managed to prod that forward, and Ross could be in here, and he's barged there by Yovu right at the edge of the box, and that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card to Yovu. It was a clumsy challenge. To be honest, it was a fortuitous ball in some ways from Nisbet. He just went in and won the 50-50, and it worked out quite nicely for Ethan Ross, and Yovu brings him down on the edge, and that's a chance for Falkirk.
It committed exactly the same one just in front of us in the first half. You know, he just goes through the ball when he's got no chance of getting it. That's a stonewall foul. If it's another yard, it's a penalty kick. But I'll tell you, it's a great chance for Falkirk from a 20 yards, 22 yards from goal.
Yeah. I mean, it looks little more than a yard outside that penalty area, albeit it's well left to centre, you would have to say. But nonetheless, it could still be within shooting distance. Nisbet with the right foot would possibly fancy this. Let's say Ross, I beg your pardon. Who's over it, and so too Calvin Miller, but it does look like it favours the right foot of Ethan Ross, with a wall lined up, plenty of men in it just outside the 6-yard box. John Beaton makes sure that they are back far enough, and Falkirk with an opportunity here then to perhaps take the lead. Ethan Ross lines it up, curls it. It's too high though from Ethan Ross. He's disappointed with himself there. The fans acknowledge the effort, but be hoping to hit the target from that distance. Still 1-1.
Sometimes it's just a little bit too close. You're just trying to be too accurate there and just trying to curl it in the corner rather than just hit it with pace and power, or pace and a dip on it. He's actually just trying to place it in, and sometimes it just floats away from you. Again, it was a great opportunity. It was really poor defending from Dundee United man there, because I think he's in control of the situation. He's in goal side, and I think Ethan Ross just knows he's coming from the first half. There's a foul there, really hands on as well.
Nothing given, and United pick up, and it's Kamara knocking it forward, but it's pretty aimless, and it's all the way through to Scott Bain. And Jim Goodwin might be a little bit concerned that, having gained control of the game towards the end of the first half and taken the lead, that they haven't gone on and made more of this second half, and in fact have lost the equaliser. Falkirk allowed to continue despite an infringement in there because they're in the attack, but that's soon cut out. McKeever second to it, and knocked forward by the United backline.
We had a look at the United's bench at half time. It's actually quite a young bench. You know, there's not a lot of experience, Premier League experience on it, so he'll be thinking, what changes can he do?
Here's Calvin Miller attacking. Keristej at the back, comes in field, picks out Ross on to McKeever, can he work a shooting opportunity? It's McKeever! Oh, just wide! Oh, I thought that was going to end up in the bottom corner as he reversed the shot. Again, perhaps didn't quite get a hold of it, but it almost helped him because it wrong-footed the goalkeeper. But unfortunately for McKeever, it trundled just wide at the far side of the post, and it remains Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1.
I don't think Ross meant to reverse that there. I think he just mishit it, but you know what, if it goes on target at all, because the goalkeeper and all defence are expecting it at the far post, it just rolls into the near post. He's done really well. He's created that chance with good quick feet, but I think he's got to do better. He's got to hit the target.
Definitely a chance for Ross McKeever to get his first Premiership goal of the season, but still one apiece then. United fans howling for a free kick, for a bit of shirt pulling in there, and I have a bit of sympathy with them, but referee allows it to continue. It's back with Kucherenko in the United goal, and he plays it out to Esselink at left centre back. Steps away from McKeever, tries to lift it over Adams once more. It is a tactic that United have tried. It's rarely come off, but they picked up the second ball. Kamara almost falling over his feet, but he's got it to Dolcek inside. Big chance, goal! United back in front! And it's even Dolcek, the Croatian, with his first United goal. Dolcek somehow managing to get through that Falkirk defence, and just as they did in the first period, United have made Falkirk pay and they are back in the lead, and it's Falkirk 1, Dundee United 2.
Yeah, it was brilliant play by Kamara initially. He's read the situation. Falkirk players were standing watching the ball in halfway line. He's intercepted, he's drove forward. We just talked about it earlier. Dolce wants the ball. He actually looks like he wants the ball in behind all the time. Kamara's realised at this time, played a great little angle pass. He's gone behind Adams, a little bit of fortune, and then he just stuck it in the near side, goalkeeper's near hand side to make it 2-1. Great finish.
Yeah, I think Dolce there, the last time there was no angle to play that type of ball, but there was a terrific little angle for Kamara to play that pass. I think Adams, I don't know if they got deep in earlier or go tighter, but he lost his man. There was a bit of fortune in the finish. It comes back off the goalie, but it was a great run, and the second one he just stuck it in.
There's been a goal at Dens Park. Let's cross to Brian McLaughlin.
It's a goal for the visitors, and greatly deserved as well. A ball played into the box, ricocheted into the path of Kieran Bowen. He turned and swung his right boot at the ball and blasted it low beyond John McCracken. Deservedly the visitors in front. It's Dundee 0, Hibernian 1.
Kieran Bowie's been brilliant. 2 games I've seen him already this season against Midtjylland, and it's a well-deserved goal for his efforts as well. And there's a real feeling among some that he can go on and be Scotland's main striker, potentially even as soon as this year. Here come Falkirk as McKeever does well to win possession. Miller's lay back for Tate wasn't a great one, but he's made something of it and finds Adams. Adams back into the area. Chance here. Oh, it's an equaliser again! Massive deflection. Ethan Ross hit it goalwards. It's a huge deflection of a United defender. Completely wrong-footed the keeper and rolled into the bottom corner. And again, Falkirk draw level. It's Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2.
Yeah, Keelan Adams just makes up for his wee mistake earlier on. He's got forward down the right-hand side. Dundee United will be furious with the goal he just conceded. Just scored. Switch off, and then a little deflection. He's taking the shot with a little deflection. The goalkeeper's already gone the wrong way. And listen, it's one of those games I think even we can say there's going to be goals. We are right, because obviously defending hasn't been great from either team.
No wonder they've sold 6,000 season tickets. There's going to be goals at this stadium this year. They might not all come for Falkirk, but there's going to be plenty of goals.
Again, the Falkirk fans joyous as their side peg United back for a second time, and this time they managed to do it much quicker. And well, who knows, is there going to be a winner in this game as Papo just catches Spencer there in the midfield, and there's going to be a yellow card for the United midfielder for that challenge. But 2-2 with 16 to play, 1-0 Hibs at Dens Park. Kieran Bowie with the goal there, and well, this has been a terrific game, a terrific advert, and Falkirk very welcome back in the Premiership if this is the kind of entertainment they are going to provide. As they come forward once again out on the left-hand side, it's Ross. I'm not sure if he'll get the credit for that goal. I think it probably was on target. He's offside on this occasion. It's difficult to say from
he'll be taking it.
Angle.
He'll be taking it.
He definitely will.
He'll definitely be taking it, won't he?
And it's a free kick to United. Quarter of an hour to go as Aguiman's going to come on for Calvin Miller for the closing 15 minutes. Alfie Aguiman replaces Calvin Miller. I think I'm hearing there's been another goal at Dens Park. Let's toss the check with Brian.
Has been another goal at Dens Park, and it's another goal for Hibernian and another goal for Kieran Bowie. A mix-up in the heart of the Dundee defence that was cleared out into the path of Bowie. A simple task to roll the ball into the back of the empty net. It's Dundee 0, Hibernian 2, 32 minutes gone here at Dens Park.
Stephen Presley was in charge here at Falkirk when they went down in 2010, and looks like he's got a job in his hands to try and avoid the same fate with Dundee very early, of course, in the season, and still time in the transfer window to strengthen. But Hibs, on the other hand, looking like they're picking up where they left off. They were unfortunate against Midtjylland, I would have to say, albeit I think Midtjylland probably on balance deserved to go through, just edged it. But Hibs still looking strong, and they will be up there again, you feel, challenging at the top end of the table. Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2 in this one, as Spencer picks up in a good area, plays it out to the left hand side for McCann, who's got a big I'm going to say grass to move into. It's artificial grass, but it's grass nonetheless, as McCann on the right foot puts it into the middle, headed clear by Esselink and picked up by Kamara, who plays it long looking for Sturton, but there's way too much in the pass, and it's all the way through to Bain. We've got 13 and a half to play plus stoppage time. Hugely entertaining game here between Falkirk and United, as Nesbitt sends Aguiman racing down the right. Early ball ends, a dangerous one, but it's cleared away behind a couple of Falkirk players there. Ross and McKeever trying to make something of it, but it was behind them, and United are able to come forward, and maybe the legs out there are beginning to tire, but it's picked up by Sapsford, right hand side, can't make anything of it though, and McCann, who's played well, emerges with possession and plays it into McKeever, holds it up on the halfway line, just rolls it back to his captain Brad Spencer. 2-2 it stands. You're listening to Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland. You won't miss a kick of the ball here in the Scottish Premiership. United have pinched it in a good area. It's poor play from Nielsen, and it's Dolchek, and it's blocked by Nielsen, who recovers from his own error and then manages to half clear it, but it's picked up by Kamara, and then in steps Dylan Tate to knock it out of play, and Lewis Nielsen's just got to be careful when he's playing out from the back, not to be quite as careless as he was there.
Yeah, I mean, it was on if he'd have sort of struck the pass properly, but every time Falkirk look as if they're about to dominate, they make a wee mistake and allow Dundee United back into the game.
Young striker was looking for the ball there, but he's actually got to make the run. He's standing wanting the ball. He's got to make the run so Dolchek can just slide him in for the first time finish.
Papo with a throw in then, about 15 yards from the left corner flag as United attack. It's going to be headed clear by the Falkirk back line as far as Sybil to return it into the penalty area. That's a decent ball, and the header comes in, and it's wide of target. I think it was Yovu who was up from the back to tower above the Falkirk defence to win it, but he couldn't angle it on target, and we're going to get another change here. And looks like Falkirk, I think, actually, who are going to make that change as they try and win this one late on. We've got 11 and a half minutes left to play here, and it's Henry Cartwright who's going to come on for Dylan Tate, the man who drew Falkirk level at 1 each at the start of the half. And it's Cartwright, one of the new signings here, on loan from Leicester, the 20-year-old midfielder, and a chance for him to show what he can do at this level in the final few minutes of the game and make a name for himself perhaps here, young Englishman. 2-2 it stands, and anyone putting money on a winner here would be sticking their neck out, that's for sure. It's anyone's guess as to who will, if anyone, manage to get the 3 points. United play it down the right hand side. It's nodded up to Sturton. He hits the deck. He was caught there by Henderson. Yet another goal at Dens Park. Let's hear who it's for.
It's a goal for Dundee this time. A shocking mistake by Jack Iredale allowed Dundee to gain possession down the right hand side. The ball played into the box, and there was number 10 Finn Robertson to fire the ball home. Remarkably, game on here, 36 minutes. Dundee 1, Hibernian 2.
Thanks, Brian. Good stuff. Dundee making a game of it there for sure. It's coming towards the end of the first half. Here come United, their city rivals, looking to make something of the free kick, but Nesbitt just thumps it clear over the halfway line, and out comes the keeper, takes it on the volley. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't just bring that down. He had so much time, and he gets away with that because it eventually breaks to a United player in the midfield, but he could have been in big trouble there had that fallen more kindly for a Falkirk player. 10 to play here at the Falkirk Stadium, plus added on time. Would take a fair bit of that given the entertainment we've been served up so far. 4 goals, 2 apiece, and United building down the left hand side. Dolchek just tried to let the ball run across his body and down the left flank, but it instead runs out of play, and it will be a Falkirk throw in midway inside their own half. Right hand side to be taken by Keelan Adams. Falkirk looking for options on this right hand side. Flicked on again by McKeever, winning the aerial battle. Comes to Aguiman, right hand side, trying to get the better of Kiristesh. Civilled on the cover though, just knocks it out of play. The home side looking to finish this game the stronger and find the winning goal. Aguiman beaten to it there by Kerestesh, but again it's out of play. It'll be another Falkirk throw in, more or less down at the corner flag on the right hand side. 2-1 Hibernian at Dens Park. 2-2 here at the Falkirk Stadium between Falkirk and Dundee United. Celtic St Mirren to come here on Sports Sound. As Aguiman picks up and plays it back to Adams, just a few yards away from the corner flag on the Falkirk right. Back to Aguiman it goes. Aguiman trying a little bit of trickery to get away from Kamara. Just kind of stumbles into him. Nesbitt's won it and then stands on the ball but manages to keep it. Adam just kind of slices it into the box. It wasn't a bad ball actually, and Kucherenko, who has been more commanding certainly second half, did well to clutch that one with two hands and gets his side moving up the park, but it's been given away. And here come Falkirk once more. McKeever back into the midfield for Cartwright. Cartwright finds Aguiman, still just outside the centre circle. He's trodden the ball, and here come United forward. It's Kamara running at the back line, slots it for Papo. Papo up towards the edge of the box. Sapsworth trying to get it into the box, and it's come off Liam Henderson and behind for a United corner, and it is very much in the melting pot, this one. 2-2.
Absolutely. I mean, Sapsworth, he never looks as if he's got the ball under control, but I tell you what, he works his socks off, and that's him almost getting to the byline. As Callum says, he plays wide right or centre forward or kind of in the areas in between, but he's quite effective and he works his socks off.
Yeah, I think the pitch is quite sticky. You've seen a lot of times. I think it's just drying up a little bit. You see a lot of boys standing on the ball, and there are a few wee mistakes coming in there. I think it's obviously, we'll come into the final 6 or 7 minutes of the game. I think it's going to be one of those, do you make a mistake? You know, because again, there's a couple of wee things going on in the game, but I think again that was a great area for Dundee United to attack. I was expecting who's it, Dolchek there, if he just opened his legs, he was in for a side foot in the net, but he's just jogged up.
Here's the corner kick from the right hand side from Dolchek, swings it into the 6 yard box. Falkirk not convincing and half clearing it. Sybil trying to make something of it. Falkirk eventually hack it clear through McKeever. Just a few moments ago, incidentally, Miller Thompson came on for United to replace Papo in the midfield. Thompson was on loan here second half of last season, didn't really play all that much, has to be said. 9 appearances and no goals on loan at Falkirk, but he was certainly a good and important player for United in their championship winning season. Mainly played at right back, but
it's hard to get in a team sometimes when the team's winning all the time. You know, it's hard when you come on loan to a team that's top of the league. You know, you're coming for probably back up, or very difficult to displace anybody in a team that's winning all the time.
Yes, indeed. Falkirk have it at the back. It's Henderson. Just tries to play it long up to the halfway line. McKeever again goes and wins that above Yovu, and if anyone was doubting Ian McCall's shout about how good he was in the air, then they're certainly been disproved so far.
He lost one earlier on.
Did he? Aye. Ian didn't mention that one, but no, he's certainly a good target. As Henderson just rolls it back to his goalkeeper, Scott Bean, just outside his area, takes a touch. It's a poor ball forward, it's picked up by Sybil. The United will try and benefit here. Again, the ball maybe just sticks on the surface a little bit. Cartwright's robbed them, and here come Falkirk. They've got 4 on 4. What can they do here? He comes out to the right hand side for Aguiman. Edge of the box, infield he comes to the edge of the area. Played in by Nesbitt, cleared away by Chevalier, and now it's United coming forward. It's end to end as it's been for much of the game. Just over 5 to play. 2-2. Can either of these sides find a winner? Spencer robs Sapsworth, who again does look like he's Sapsworth just running out of legs a little bit as Ethan Ross picks up, gets it back from McKeever, tries to feed it out to Aguiman, just forced a little bit wide, right hand side almost at the goal line. Across comes Kerestesh, forces him back the way to Adams. Nesbitt tried to get the flick on there, didn't get anything on it, but it almost caused problems for Esselink. But United clear, and here comes the powerful runner Kamara over the halfway line as United look for a winning goal. He comes in field, midway inside the Falkirk half. Out it goes to the right hand side. Again, there's another little slip, this time from Dolchek, who's out on that right flank at the moment. Good challenge from McCann to knock it out for a throw-in on the far side. We've got just over 4 minutes to play, and it's still Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2.
I'm tired watching this game. It's basically like a basketball game a little bit just now, even the whole second half. Really, it's like one team attack, the other team attack. There's been not a lot of control in the game. It's more like turnovers, and then one team attacks, and then they turn over, the other team attacks. Again, Dundee United players looking a wee bit leggy just now when they're breaking forward.
The ball in possession of Dundee United. Esselink just funneling it back to his goalkeeper, just at the edge of his penalty area. He plays it out to Jovu. Jovu brings it forward in the Falkirk sunshine. Is it square to Esselink? Jovu once more, 15 yards or so inside his own half, out to Chevalier, right hand side. He clips it forward down the right, looking for Thompson. Across comes Henderson, he's misjudged it. McCann plays it off Thompson, and Henderson taking no chances, just hooks it over his shoulder and out of play over on the far side. Just over 3 minutes left of the 90. 2-2 it stands. 2-1 Hibs at Dens. Celtic's at running a 4:30 kickoff. Live coverage of the raising of the Premiership flag there, and the 90 minutes that follows. As Kamara is the latest player to stand on the ball, but manages to keep it and get it to Kerestej on this left hand side. United trying to come forward down the right hand side. Over 7,500 inside the Falkirk Stadium for this one as United search for a winner. It's Sapsford trying to get turned away from Adams. Shots blocked by a combination of him and Spencer. Aguiman picks up inside his own box, doesn't want to lash it forward. Falkirk try and play out, and they played it up to McKeever. McKeever's not managed to hold on to it. Dispossessed by Jovu. Shot from distance from Sibbald is into the arms of Scott Bain. It was moving in the air, but Bain saw it all the way, and it's still Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2.
I think you got to say Keelan Adams, who was a wee bit at fault for the second Dundee United goal. He's had a couple of really good bits of defending in the last 5-10 minutes. He certainly doesn't look tired.
Looking like it could be around 5 minutes added on here as Falkirk now come forward. Aguiman looking to get on the end of the pass, but across comes Esselink to slide it out of play.
I'd love to hear what both managers think at the end of this game, because again it's probably both managers think they could have won the game. They probably both think they could have lost the game as well.
Here's Aguiman. It's now Nesbitt. Adams joins in the attack just inside the box. McKeever can't quite stretch to get onto the pass, and it's cleared forward, and it's United now looking to make something of it. Sapsford's done well as he's taken down there by McCann. Referee then gets in the way of the ball, and it's going to be a drop ball, I think, rather than a free kick, although Sapsford was claiming he was being dragged to the ground.
It's great defending by John Beaton for Falkirk there.
There is a slight change to the drop ball rule now when the referee gets in the way. The ball is going to be dropped at the feet of the team who are going to pick up possession when the ball hit the ref, rather than automatically going to the attacking team or the team who last touched it. So if that was definitely going to fall to a Falkirk player, they would have been given the drop ball there.
That's a hard one, isn't it? That's quite a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's doubt about it, it will still go to the team
with the ball.
who had played it off the referee. But if it's clearly going to fall to the opposition, it wouldn't then default back to the ones who kicked it off him. A slight tweak to the law, I should say, as Dolchek comes forward down the left-hand side. Sapsford shows willingness to keep that in, but he can't quite latch onto his own touch, and then Adams plays it off him. And some of these players out there are pretty much out on their feet. They've given so much in the heat out there early in this season, but none of them are willing to give up with just seconds left of the 90. But last we heard that it was going to be around 5 minutes added on at the end of this game, which I think we'll all welcome. It's been a terrific watch. 2-2 it stands as Falkirk try and build down the left-hand side. Ethan Ross. 5 minutes confirmed as Ross comes in off that left flank, and he creates something here. He rolls it back to his captain Brad Spencer. Spencer into the feet of Aguiman, tries to turn away there from his marker Kerestej. Spencer now once more, he's closed down by Kamara. Kamara's had a good game for United, looks like a good signing, and United come forward, and it's Sapsford into the area, left hand side. Can he pick out Kamara in the middle? Across comes Liam Henderson, brilliant covering play, terrific defending, you'd have to say, from Liam Henderson. He's started the next attack, plays it to Aguiman, who finds Nesbitt right hand side. He's got Sibbald with him. Nesbitt just tries to play it off Sibbald, but he didn't. Well, he says he did manage to do so, but the assistant says no, it went straight out. Leon McCann's down there, Liam Henderson's down. I think both need a bit of a stretch off.
Cramp. I think it was great defending there by the two Falkirk centre halves. They were getting obviously countered on again. I think Nielsen and Henderson have got to have a lot of credit there. They've actually decided when they're going to go and press, and then as soon as Nielsen's gone, Henderson's then stepped across and thwarted the attack from Dundee United.
Ethan Ross is also down. Leo McCann and Henderson have picked themselves up, but yeah, these players are absolutely knackered. Let's cross to Brian McLaughlin, who can bring us the half-time report from Dens Park, Dundee against Hibernian.
Yes, Alex, Dundee 1, Hibernian 2, a pretty eventful 28 minutes that was, until, of course, Hibernian took lead after 28 minutes. A poor clearance by Astley. It ricocheted off one of his own defenders, straight into the path of Kieran Bowie, who fired home. Then 4 minutes later, Hibernian doubled their advantage again. Ball played into the box. Journey Beat had a shot. It was a combination really between McCracken and Astley. The pair of them tried to clear the ball, but again it fell straight into the path of Bowie, who fired home, and at that point you really couldn't see anything other than Hibernian going on to secure all 3 points. However, a few moments later, a massive mistake by Iredale allowed Digby possession on the edge of the 18-yard box. He cut the ball back into the path of Finn Robertson, who fired home with ease, and that gave us a half-time score here at Dens Park of Dundee 1, Hibernian 2.
Thanks, Brian, and Brian will keep us up to date throughout as to how the second half goes. We're back underway here, and United have made a late change. It's Kai Fotheringham in possession, former Falkirk low knee, coming forward down the left-hand side, having replaced Dolchek. He manages to get there. The assistant referee's got no idea over the far side. He's not committing, and the referees had to decide for him, and he's pointing for the corner. I think he's probably right. I think Fotheringham just managed to get there and keep it in and play it off the Falkirk player, but the assistant on that far side, he wouldn't push flag either way.
He wasn't up with play. He was 10 yards away from the touchline, so he wasn't up with play, so he couldn't possibly tell, and the referees just guessed.
I think it was a hard one because the wind just held off a little bit as well.
Well, this could be controversial then if it ends up in the back of the net. Falkirk having to defend this corner from Miller Thompson into a dangerous area. It was Ross McKeever yet again getting back, this time to win the header to clear Falkirk's line. So we're going to play beyond the 5 minutes for sure, because I had that stoppage a moment ago. But it's United coming forward looking to win it late on as Miller Thompson gets it back there to Sapsford. Sapsford swings it towards the back post. A cross goal from Yovu, away by the Falkirk substitute Henry Cartwright. Chevalier picks up, still inside the Falkirk half for United. Is there a late sting in the tail from either of these two? Fed forward there by Kerestesh. Adams just manages to fend off the United attacker there, and Aguiman's brought it forward powerfully and good strength to hold on to possession. Nesbitt goes back the way to Nielsen. Nielsen will clip it out to the left-hand side for McCann. McCann will come forward, as tired as he is. He'll give everything to the end, and here's McKeever. A nice little drop of the shoulder, gets it into the area. This could be a chance. Aguiman can't quite bring it under control, and Kamara able to emerge with possession and get it up to Sturton, who's just caught there by Cartwright. That'll be a United free kick midway inside their own half. And well, we are in the 5th minute of added on time. It remains to be seen how much further we will play, but these sides still level at 2 apiece. And what a game it has been, what a contest. United twice in front, twice pegged back. Here's Kerestesh at left back for Dundee United, just rolls it back to Esselink. I wonder if there comes a point at which they just settle for the point, as it's Chevalier now, right hand side, plays it down the line looking for Miller Thomas. It's a poor ball, a tired ball, and out of play for a throw-in on that far side to Falkirk on their left, just outside, just beyond the 18-yard line. And no one's in any particular rush at this stage, it has to be said, having given so much to the game thus far.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty tired out there. I think they've given a lot of effort for their managers, both sets of players. I put absolutely everything into this game. It's been thoroughly entertaining, but again the pitch is a wee bit difficult. I think the last probably 20 minutes it became really sticky, and we're actually saying, could they be better link up, could you do this? I think sometimes the pitch plays a lot into the game, but I think there'll be some fantastic performances from both players, from both sides.
United throwing over on the far side in the halfway line. United right. Almost played 6 minutes of added on time now. Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2. Into the final seconds as Cartwright picks up, tries to drive forward again. The sticky pitch not helping him, but well, Nesbitt was brought to the floor, and that was crude and maybe a little bit cynical as well there from Chevalier. He'll take the yellow card because Nesbitt was getting into a promising area, and there might be a chance here for Falkirk to just throw some bodies forward and try and win it in the dying stages here. The free kick's just about 10 yards or so into the United half, but they've thrown plenty forwards. Henderson and Nielsen up with the attack as Spencer fires it into the edge of the box. The keeper thought about coming, comes all the way through to McKeever, back into the middle, and Nesbitt just didn't get a hold of the shot. It's a poor effort from Nesbitt, and that is the last act. A big chance in the last act of the game for Aidan Nesbitt to win it for Falkirk, but he just snatched at the opportunity, didn't get a hold of it. And well, I think there'll be few people inside the stadium who could argue that a draw is not a fair result. As Callum said, probably both managers will feel they could have won this one, but equally there could have been opportunities for them to lose it as well. As it was Dundee United who took the advantage initially 5 minutes before the break, as Craig Sybil's ball into the area wasn't properly cleared, and Max Waters in his first Dundee United start volleyed past Scott Bain for his first Dundee United goal. That was the score at half time, but it was only 5 minutes into the second period when Falkirk first drew level. Dylan Tate with a lovely ball down the right channel, made his way into the area, eventually found its way back to him, and he smashed it high into the net to make it one apiece. With 71 minutes on the clock, United were back in front. Kamara doing some good work just outside the penalty. He fed it to Ivan Dolcek, and he grabbed his first United goal, managing to get through a couple of challenges before squeezing the ball past Scott Bain to make it 2-1. But they were only ahead for 2 minutes on that occasion as Ethan Ross struck an effort from inside the box. It took a wicked deflection to wrong foot the keeper, and that was 2 apiece. And beyond that, there wasn't too much goalmouth action. There was an effort from distance from former Falkirk man Craig Sybil, but it was no real threat to Scott Bain. And so an enthralling game comes to an end with the final score: Falkirk 2, Dundee United